Welcome back, Irish fans, to Breaking Down Braves Boys podcast. Here with Jake today, and Paul Atkinson dropped a nuke on us last night, committed out of nowhere for probably the last edition of the 2021-2022 team. So really excited to add him. I'll just go over a quick briefing on him, and then we can get into our thoughts about him. So he's a 6'10", 220-pound center / power forward. He'll probably play center at Notre Dame. Probably play the 4 or the 1 and the 4 out, 1 in offense. So they really needed him to replace Juwan Durham. He said in an interview today that Juwan Durham's leaving. So I don't know if Jake saw that. I didn't tell him about that, but he's pretty
Yes, I saw it.
Yeah, he pretty much confirmed Durham's gone. So that's something. He won Co-Ivy League Player of the Year last year, averaged 17.6 points per game, 7.3 rebounds while sharing the front court with another good rebounder, so that's impressive. 1.5 assists, good passer out of the pick and roll, gets on the perimeter sometimes. Not quite a block per game, but he's probably the second best shot blocker we have next year, but behind probably Elijah Taylor. And then he shot 63% from the field, which was one of the highest in the Ivy League. Scored double figures every game, including 20 points versus Clemson and 10 versus UNC. And he said in his tweet he'll be eligible next year. So really looking forward to that. Jake, I guess we'll go to you. What are your thoughts on Paul Atkinson committing out of nowhere?
I was kind of surprised. I didn't think he would pick us, actually. But he did. I think it's a big boost. I've even heard, I thought he would be yeah, okay, that's a good ACC level center next year. That can be I thought, okay, maybe he's Durham that fouls less and scores 2 or 3 more points a game, which is welcome. Which would actually be a pretty good player. What I've heard from some is this is like getting a 5-star one and done. And that makes me really excited for next year. So next year we can have Ward's Hub. I don't know what combination that shakes up. At the guards, Goodwin at the 3, and then front court of Leschewski and Atkinson. I mean, that's potentially 2 first-team All-CC guys, I would say. Maybe 3, but let's say 2. I think, Leschewski's good luck to make it. And then you got other who could be second and 13. I mean, that's such an old and great lineup. And, I think the great thing about this, too, is it actually allows us to have a strong bench. We have Elijah Morgan who got minutes last night. I don't know how much of that going forward. Let's say at guards we have Cormac Ryan, Blake Wesley, Robbie Carmody. I mean, that's 2 that's ACC level players, maybe ACC level starters. We have Konechny and who may redshirt, and Sanders out in the wing, who I think can be good, and then Zona and Taylor, who I think Taylor was ready to contribute this year, and Zona shown some ACC ability. So I mean that's actually a good bench. If next year's team cannot at least win a tournament game, I would be disappointed.
Yeah, for sure. You brought up kind of how you didn't think we would get him, and I thought we would get him. I thought it was a perfect fit, but looking at the teams that were recruiting him, there was a lot of appeal there. I think he's from Miami, and Miami was recruiting him. Team that is performing better than us this year in the ACC, Iowa. He could be Luka Garza's successor. I think NC State was in there, and Texas, who's a top 10 team right now, probably going to go even farther up the rankings after they blew out Kansas. So a lot of appealing teams that we beat out. So really happy with what Humphrey and Braid did there. I just wanted to ask you were talking about how you think, you heard it's like a 5-star thing, and I heard that too. Do you think this is the biggest commitment they've gotten in recent memory? I would argue that Blake Wesley was kind of a bigger one, just because he'll probably be here for multiple years and he could be the centerpiece of some of these teams. But do you think Atkinson is the most important or best commit we've gotten recently?
What's recently? What's the time frame for that?
Since 2018. Well, maybe even 2018.
No, I would say Nate was bigger. I would say Jackson was a bigger commit. I would say, I might even say some others were DJ Harvey at the time might have been a bigger commit. But I would say that, probably in terms of year 1 impact, it's our biggest commit in a while. It's definitely since 2018. I mean, I think it's bigger than Trey Wirtz, and I'm a Trey Wirtz fan. Like, I think he will complete what this team really needed to make a run next year. They needed a veteran center, a veteran front court partner to Nate Laszewski, a guy that really complements him well, actually, because their games complement each other well. I think this may be the most impactful commit because it can solidify a tournament run and get this program back on track. I'm very excited for what he brings, and not to mention for him with the schools he's choosing. Getting a bachelor's degree from Yale and a master's from Notre Dame is not too bad.
Yeah, I don't think he'll have too much trouble getting into the workforce if he doesn't decide to play pro basketball. But like you said, I think he complements Laszewski really well. Like he said, he's not going to stretch the floor, but he's going to play the one in the 4-out, 1-in. Going to be that low post guy who you can dump it down to, kind of like John Mooney. I think that's been part of our struggles this year is those long scoring droughts. You need a guy like that down low who you can dump the ball down to, and he can go get you a basket, kind of alleviate some of the huge droughts offensively, which have led to us losing games. So that's going to be huge. Moves really well too. Good, decent defensive center. So what I'm really looking forward to is maybe him helping more on the boards than Durham is right now, because I'm getting kind of sick of getting out rebounded by like 18 like we did against UNC. So hopefully he can help that too. But I also wanted to touch on, I think Bray and Humphrey, especially those two, doing a really good job using the portal to get even with these top schools because, we're not recruiting at the level of UNC or Duke out of high school. I think we all know that. Bray knows that. And they're really using the portal to get good players from non-power fives and to kind of boost the program. And maybe this could even get us to the level of a UNC or Duke for next year with Wirtz, Ryan, and Atkinson. Those could be your three best players, honestly. I guess Laszewski is probably your best player, but those have a legit argument to be three of your best four players. So really interesting. Any thoughts on maybe Bray using the portal to get even if we haven't seen it yet?
To get what?
Get even with those big kind of ACC schools.
Yeah, I think they should take in another transfer, but a sit-out one. Like I know some have mentioned another big. I think that could be useful because after next year, Nate and Atkinson are gone, so we only have Zone and Taylor. I want a guy we can develop really. I think really the transfer portal is Notre Dame's keen recruiting to stay competitive in the ACC. I've said I don't really think Bray is a big fan of recruiting. I don't think he's done great at it in the past few years. But this past year, it's been good. He's landed, Tony Sanders, Trey Wirtz, Blake Wesley, and now Paul Atkinson. Those are, three huge ones. And then Sanders, who I think who has shown some ACC talent so far. He's a freshman, so it's hard to play. But I think Bray has done a great job, and he's showing tenacity going after big guys again. Doesn't mean he'll get him, but I hope Paul Atkinson can prove like you can come to Notre Dame and dominate in your first year. So I do feel good about the recruiting. On the court right now, it's a different story, but hopefully that can fix that. You did mention the 4-out, 1-in. So do you see him playing alone or with Nate?
I see him most of the time playing alone. We've seen Nate be the one at times this year. We've also gone 5-out with him. So I think we could see a bunch of different looks. Also, that's something I want to touch on is the flexibility it gives you. You could play like three guys on the wing and then Laszewski and Atkinson down if you need to against like a team like Bellarmine who doesn't have anybody big. Or you can go 5-out if you want with Laszewski and then put Atkinson on the bench. And you're not forced to go small ball like you would have been earlier. So I think he just gives you a lot of flexibility. You can put a ton of different guards in there. He can run the pick and roll with Ryan or Wirtz or Hub. So really looking forward to all he can bring on both ends of the court, I guess, too. So that's kind of all I have. Anything else you got?
No, I'm just very excited for this. I can't wait until next season because this current one has not given much reason to look forward to it so far. Let's hope that ends differently. Go Irish. Welcome to Notre Dame, Paul Atkinson.
For sure. The on-court product right now is not great. Hopefully Wednesday, I think you're seeing this Monday. Hopefully Wednesday is the day we bounce back against Georgia Tech. Make a similar run that we did last year, where Georgia Tech was kind of a turning point for the whole team. So really, I'm actually kind of optimistic still based on Saturday's performance. But we'll have the game preview.
That's true.
Yeah, we'll have the game preview for
I will
Georgia.
say,
So
we came within 1 point of beating what may be a pretty good team without Trey Words. So, if you want your glass half full take, there's that.
yeah, for sure. I think I'm the king of those glass half full takes. So still have some optimism. Tune into the game preview tomorrow to hear some more optimism and some insight on Georgia Tech. Thank you guys for watching. Go Irish. Peace.